Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about Bloodborn by Kincy, and this is book 2 in the Other series. So, I enjoyed this book quite a bit. We're following a totally different point of view. We're following Brock's point of view, who we met in the last, which, I had mixed feelings about at first, because frankly I wanted to see more of Gwen and Octavian in this book, because I grew really attached to their characters. I like their characters a lot, and it was nice following something other than werewolves, vampires, and what have you. And in this book, we're following a freshly turned werewolf. And, at first I was like, do I really want to read something about a werewolf again? But, since I love the first one so much, I continued on with this just to see out of curiosity, because I was kind of interested to see what happened with Brock. As a little refresher, Brock and his brother Chris were the two guys who were basically hunting down Randall and just werewolves in general in the last book. And then, Randall attacked them and bit them, and now we're seeing the consequences of that. Which was nice, instead of the author just being like, you know what, I'm not going to follow up on that, never going to mention those two guys again, and continue on with Gwen and Octavian. It was nice, it was interesting to see, things from a different point of view. Since Gwen was born half Puka, we got kind of getting in on the other, crowd. But now we're getting a totally different point of view. Brock, who is totally anti-other, he is biased, he is, I guess the proper term would be racist in this situation. He is extremely biased and just prejudiced against others. Now seeing him actually having to deal with being an other himself was a pretty interesting thing. So yeah, this whole book is basically following Brock for a bit and seeing how he adjusts to this new life of his. So that's really all I say without giving spoilers. If you have not read this book yet, I highly suggest you do, because it is a very enjoyable read. So we pick up maybe a month or two after the first book ended, and currently Brock is kind of taking this medication to try and suppress the werewolf disease running through him. And can I just say, I love how, vampirism and werewolfism is really viewed as a disease. And it's interesting how it's kind of explained. This medication that he's taking is not a permanent cure. It's not a cure at all. It's just kind of something that will suppress him from changing for a set period of time. It's not really said how long. And basically it kind of halts the spread of the disease from multiplying in his body, which will result in him changing. So in the 2 months that he has been bitten, he hasn't changed once, even during the full moon, where a wolf, has to shift. And his brother Chris isn't doing so good. He was attacked much more viciously than he was, and he's in the hospital still, and he's just not doing good at all. And Brock is really bitter. He despises Randall for attacking them, despite the fact that, they were hunting him, and they were planning to, kill him and any other werewolf in the area. So, it took me a little bit to kind of feel pity for him and to find sympathy for him because of that. Because it's what did you expect would happen hunting a werewolf? You're going after them, of course they're going to try and defend themselves if it comes down to it. It's common sense, it's instinct. If you are being attacked, you will fight back. You don't have to be a werewolf for that. If someone came at me, of course I would fight back, and I'm pretty sure everyone else would do the same. So it's instinct. You're not just gonna lie over and let someone kill you. And all of Brock's family is treating him different. His dad is treating these pills as an all-out cure. There's an obvious change in treatment towards him because he was bitten, and he is now really a werewolf now, even though he hasn't shifted yet. And through all this, the werewolf pack from, Canada is still, chilling out in this little town. And, people are still trying to run him out and, get them arrested or killed. The sheriff, oh my god, I do not like the sheriff. Frankly, I don't like the sheriff. I hated him, and I got an icky feeling from him the entire time. For good reason, because he is just an all-out, prejudiced bigot. As you know, we see later on, especially. So, due to some really insane circumstances, the pack kind of takes Brock's ex-girlfriend hostage. He was trying to kind of get back into talking with her. She left him because he was so close-minded about others. And now that he was another, he was just trying to talk to her again because he was lonely. No one at school would really talk to him anymore. He stopped going to school. His brother was in the hospital, and eventually he did die during, a recent full moon because he was just so hurt from Randall attacking him that his body just couldn't handle the change, so he died. Which I did feel kind of bad for, because when we see him once in this, delirious state of mind, he did seem like he did regret it, or at least I felt he regretted what they did. So yeah, the pack kind of kidnaps his ex-girlfriend, whose name is Cynthia, and they drag him along with them because he's a Bloodborn. He belongs with them. He is a wolf. He should be with them, and he needs to learn what it means to be a wolf. And because he's a new Bloodborn, he is kind of I guess you could be say the Omega of the pack, more or less. Until he kind of proves himself. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be skipping quite a bit of stuff that goes on in the middle because I don't want to go through a complete play for everything. But I did like how Brock does go through character development, and it didn't happen in a snap. It did take him a while to, come to terms with, I'm a werewolf, I am a Bloodborn, I am an other, I am not human anymore. And what I was doing was messed up. Hunting Randall and the pack, that was messed up. And I like how he did kind of come to that realization eventually, that he is still Brock, that him and the wolf aren't separate after all. I like how he kind of came to that conclusion on his own. He didn't just wake up and have an epiphany. It did happen over time. And he did kind of forgive Randall. He acknowledged, yeah, Randall was only trying to protect himself. He didn't want to be, shot to death. So he only did what he really had to do. We should have backed off way long ago. He was kind of forced to attack us to save his own skin. And we should have backed off. So I like how he came to that kind of realization. And him and Randall, I wouldn't consider them friends, so to speak. But, he no longer wants to tear Randall's throat out. Which is progress. And, his dad seemed to kind of come to terms with, this is who you are now. I don't know if it was shock from, what happened at the end to kind of bring him to that conclusion. But, things seemed to they were going to be going good for Brock from now on. So, that's nice. He's not going to be totally cut off from his family. I don't know about his extended family, but his dad seemed to not want to, completely disown him. So, that's good at least. He'll have someone. One thing I would have liked to see at least a little more of Tavian and Gwen in all this. We got a quick cameo of them, and Gwen as an owl and Tavian as a fox, but that's about it. I kind of wished for a bit more. But you know what? I think I believe the next book is about Tavian and Gwen, mostly Tavian. But, it'd be nice getting back to them, because I did miss them. As much as it was nice to kind of see what happened to Brock. I like this book, maybe not as much as the first one, but it was interesting, and it was definitely worth the read. So yeah, that'll be it for this book review, and I hope to see you guys next time. Keep on reading, my fellow book addicts, keep on reading.